Hey folks, Mr. Pardinas here. So you might be wondering, what does Egypt have to do with geography? What does it have to do with what we're learning today in class? And I could tell you right now that the issues in Libya, Morocco, Syria, and the past issues in Egypt are all connected to each other and all connected to geography through agriculture and the production of wheat. I'm going to let this video explain a little bit more of what I'm talking about and what I mean, and we'll see how it connects to our lesson today.
It's a daily routine for Egypt's bakeries. With a population of more than 80 million, the demand for daily bread is high. It has made Egypt the world's largest importer of wheat. Each year, Egypt imports nearly 8 to 9 million tons of wheat. Nearly 60% of that comes from Russia alone. In the wake of a ban by the Russian government on wheat exports, Egypt will have to import an additional 60,000 tons a month to make up for the shortfall. It could lead to a diplomatic fallout. The Egyptian government, however, says there won't be a short-term crisis. A statement released by the Minister of Trade said, quote, "The Egyptian government has a strategic supply of wheat that can last up to 4 months." It also added that Egypt has already bought nearly 240,000 tons of wheat from France to make up for the immediate shortfall. While the government insists that the cost of the Russian wheat crisis won't be passed on to Egyptian consumers, people on the streets of Egypt aren't convinced.
Of course it's a problem for us. We import our wheat from Russia, so if there's a drought, then we will be affected.
Prices will rise. There won't be any exports. Russia's crops have been burned. They're ruined.
It is an underlying problem, and in the past, the slightest increase in food prices or a reduction in government subsidies has triggered street protests. But for now, the cost of importing wheat may be less expensive than trying to change Egypt's welfare state. Ayman Muhyiddin, Al Jazeera, Cairo.
Okay, so here's a kicker about the last news piece. That was back in August, late August in 2010. That's only a few months before those riots started happening in Egypt. So if you're paying attention, you might have noticed that the Egyptian government did mention that they had 4 months of supplies of bread, and they promised that nothing would happen in terms of an emergency of any sort. But by the time the end of January came, the prices of bread skyrocketed and people weren't having enough food. So this is why the riots started. So let's look back at what caused this drought. So according to Bloomberg, the Hydrometeorological Center of Russia made a statement saying that this was the first time this has ever happened in 50 years where we'd have this much abnormal heat with both atmospheric and soil drought. So we have a combination of different things that are affecting the agriculture in the northeast areas of Russia's European regions. So we can see throughout this whole story that definitely all the 5 themes of geography are present: location, movement, region, environment, and interaction. They're all present within this story. It connects us all together, and we have to always remember that. So what we're learning about today is the effect of climate and the effect of natural vegetation. We're going to be looking at what their effect is on agriculture. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about how the seasons affect agriculture as well.